before the road, before the crash, before the 19 minutes. There was a girl. Her name was Maura Murray, born May 4, 1982, in Brockton, Massachusetts. She was the fourth of 5 children. Her father, Fred, a medical technician. Her mother, Lori, a nurse. They raised their family in Hanson, a quiet working-class town on the south shore of Massachusetts. When Maura was 6 years old, her parents divorced. She stayed primarily with her mother, but she remained close to her father. Fred Murray coached his children's sports teams. He took them hiking. He took them camping, in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. The same mountains she would drive toward 21 years later. Maura grew up alongside her siblings. An older brother, 2 older sisters, a younger half-brother. By every account, she was the kind of child people remembered. She had dimples, a wide smile, a laugh that filled a room. She volunteered at a local nursing home. She checked on elderly residents, sat with them, listened to them. She was 17 years old. She played competitive AAU basketball. She traveled New England with her team. She was known for her speed. And then, she started running. On the track and cross-country teams at Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, Maura Murray became something exceptional. She broke school records that had stood for years. She earned Boston Globe All-Scholastic honors. As a sophomore, she competed at nationals. She finished 33rd in the country. She was not just fast, she was determined. In the classroom, the same. She scored in the 95th percentile on the SAT, a near-perfect score in mathematics. She was a member of the National Honor Society. She graduated at the top of her class. She had her choice of colleges. She chose West Point, a congressional nomination from Senator Edward Kennedy. She joined her older sister Julie on the same campus. She studied chemical engineering. She ran cross-country. She ran track. She was doing everything right. But something about it did not fit. After 3 semesters, she made a decision. She left West Point. She transferred to the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Full scholarship. She chose nursing, like her mother. At UMass, she made the dean's list. Every semester, she kept running. She held 2 jobs on campus. She was beginning her clinical rotations. One in a maternity ward, one in a psychiatric unit. She was building a life. She had a long-distance boyfriend, Bill Roche, a fellow West Point student. His mother later said, Maura felt like family the moment they met. She had friends who loved her, a father who called regularly, a sister who confided in her. She was 21 years old. She was, by every measure, someone with everything ahead of her. And then came February. And a phone call that made her cry. And a car crash at 3 in the morning. And a decision that no one saw coming. To understand what happened on Route 112, you first have to understand who was driving that car. A daughter, a sister, a runner. Someone who had never once, in 21 years, given up on anything. Until the night she drove north, and did not come back. February 9, 2004. A quiet winter night, in rural New Hampshire. A black Saturn sedan, found in a ditch, along Route 112. No driver. When police arrived, there was no trace of her. Her name was Maura Murray, 21 years old, a nursing student, University of Massachusetts, Amherst. She had a future. That morning, she emailed her professors. She told them there had been a death in the family. She would be gone for a week. There was no death in the family. Before leaving campus, she withdrew nearly all her cash, $280. She returned 79 cans for change. She bought alcohol. And she drove north. She told no one where she was going. She had searched directions to Burlington, Vermont. She had called a hotline for travel to Stowe. She had contacted the owner of a condo in Bartlett, New Hampshire. None of these led to a confirmed destination. At 7:27 p.m., a local resident reported a car off the road. A passing motorist spoke with the driver briefly. She declined help. She said she had already called for help. She had not called anyone. Police arrived at 7:46 p.m. 19 minutes later. Maura Murray was gone. She left behind her vehicle, her personal belongings. She took nothing. Or, someone took her. Between 8 o'clock and 8:30 p.m., a contractor reported seeing a young person moving quickly on foot, eastbound on Route 112, 4 to 5 miles from where the car was found. It may have been Maura. It may not have been. In 2009, the case was transferred to New Hampshire's Cold Case Division. It is handled as a suspicious missing persons case. 22 years have passed. Maura Murray has not been found. Her family no longer hopes to find her alive. They hope only to know what happened. The road on Route 112 is still there. The answers are not. Now, we look closer at the evidence left behind. Earlier that day, Maura was captured on ATM surveillance footage. Dark jacket, jeans. That was the last recorded image of her. Her car had struck a tree. It had careened off a hairpin turn on Route 112, a difficult road on a dark winter night. A local bus driver named Butch Atwood was passing by. He pulled over. He asked if she was okay. She said she was just shook up. He offered to call police. She said no. She told him she had already called AAA. She had not called AAA. Her New Hampshire driver's license had been suspended for a speeding ticket. She did not want police at that scene. Atwood went home. He lived just across the road. He called police anyway. Police arrived at 7:46 p.m. Maura Murray was gone. 19 minutes. That is all the time that passed. Inside the car, investigators found something. An unidentified fingerprint on a CD case inside the vehicle. It would go unmatched for years. In 2020, a man named Stephen Baldwin was arrested on fraud charges in Campbell, Ohio. His fingerprints were run through police databases. They matched the unidentified print from Maura's car. Stephen Baldwin had known Maura. They had both attended West Point. He had served as her student advocate before a disciplinary review panel. His fingerprint was in her car. Baldwin denied any involvement in her disappearance. He has not been charged. The print remains a question, not an answer. A private investigator hired by the Murray family later concluded that Maura was likely a victim of foul play, that she may have accepted a ride from the wrong person. To this day, there have been no credible sightings of Maura Murray since the night she disappeared. The road is quiet now, but the questions remain loud. There is a house 1 mile from where Maura's car was found. In October 2006, volunteers conducted a 2-day search near the crash site. Inside the closet of an A-frame house, approximately 1 mile away, cadaver dogs reportedly reacted strongly, possibly identifying the presence of human remains. A carpet sample from that home was sent to New Hampshire State Police. The results were never released to the public. In 2016, investigators returned to that same house. Inside a bedroom closet, they found what appeared to be human blood on wood panels. Wood chips were taken, sent for testing. Years later, the Murray family announced that 2 separate cadaver dogs had responded to possible human remains in the basement of that same home. Ground-penetrating radar also registered a positive hit at the same location, the same spot, multiple times. The new owners of the home gave law enforcement permission to search. Concrete was cut. The basement was excavated. Nothing was found. Fred Murray was told the news. His response was 3 words. This one hurts. There had also been another lead early in the investigation. A man had come forward. He told Fred Murray that his brother had implicated himself. He handed Fred a rusty knife. That lead went nowhere. 10 days after Maura vanished, her boyfriend received a voicemail. He believed it was the sound of Maura sobbing. The call was traced to a calling card issued by the American Red Cross. It was never confirmed to be her. A police dog tracked a scent from one of Maura's gloves. It followed the trail, 100 yards east of the vehicle. Then, the scent was gone. The FBI joined the investigation 10 days after she disappeared. The search became nationwide. Every lead followed. Every lead exhausted. In February 2019, Fred Murray said of the nearby house, "That's my daughter. I do believe." The search had come back empty, but he still believed. A father who has never stopped looking. A case that has never been solved. The house still stands, 1 mile from the road. To understand what happened that night, we have to go back further. Maura Murray was accepted into West Point, a congressional nomination from Senator Edward Kennedy. She was that kind of student. At West Point, Maura was caught stealing from the commissary at Fort Knox. She would have been expelled. Instead, she was allowed to withdraw. That is how she ended up at UMass Amherst. At UMass, she was caught again. This time, using stolen credit card numbers to order pizza in the dormitories. She was placed on probation. A bright student, a disciplined athlete, and a pattern of quiet trouble. On February 5, 2004, 4 days before she disappeared, Maura was at her campus security job. She received a phone call. She broke down in tears. When a colleague asked what was wrong, she said only 2 words. "My sister." The nature of that call has never been explained. 2 days later, she borrowed her father's car. She crashed it into a guardrail near campus. She was not injured, but something was shifting. A week before she went missing, Maura placed a call to the home of a woman in Weymouth. That woman's job was investigating claims of child abuse. That call has never been fully explained either. At the time of her disappearance, Maura's boyfriend had been unfaithful. On the morning of February 9th, she called her boyfriend. He was stationed at Fort Sill in Oklahoma. What was said in that conversation is not known. She then packed her car, withdrew her money, bought alcohol, and drove north, alone, in winter, on a road she had traveled before. There was no cell service on that stretch of Route 112, no one to call, no one who knew where she was going. She was running toward something, or away from it. 22 years later, we still do not know which. There is one detail that has never been explained. In the early hours of February 9th, at 3:30 in the morning, Maura crashed her father's car into a guardrail on a Massachusetts road. Nearly $10,000 in damage. That was the night before she disappeared. The responding officer filed an accident report. There is no documentation of any field sobriety test being conducted. At 4:49 in the morning, a call was placed from her father's phone to her boyfriend. The content of that call remains unknown. Hours passed. Her father rented a car, dropped her back at campus, drove home to Connecticut. Neither of them knew it would be the last time they saw each other. That night, Fred called to remind her to get accident forms from the Registry of Motor Vehicles. They agreed to speak again Monday night. Monday never came. Not for Maura. No footprints were found near the vehicle. No phone. No wallet. No note. Nothing. Faith Westman lived near the crash site. She heard a loud thump. She looked outside. She saw a car facing the wrong direction on the road. She called 911. That was 7:27 p.m. Butch Atwood arrived shortly after. He noticed something. The headlights of Maura's car were off. The hazard lights were not flashing. On a dark road. In winter. She was not trying to be seen. Maura reportedly pleaded with Atwood not to call 911. Not asked. Pleaded. Atwood went home. His wife called police at 7:43 p.m. A police cruiser arrived at 7:46 p.m. The timeline between the crash, the 911 calls, and the arrival of police indicates that Maura vanished in approximately 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Bloodhounds tracked her scent. They lost it within a few hundred yards of the vehicle. The scent did not lead into the woods. It stopped at the road. There were no footprints in the snow leading toward the tree line. She did not walk into the forest. She got into a vehicle, or a vehicle was already waiting. Between 8 o'clock and 8:30 p.m., a contractor traveling on Route 112 reported seeing a young person moving quickly on foot, eastbound. 4 to 5 miles from the crash site. 4 to 5 miles. In the dark. In winter. In less than an hour. Maura's cell phone was missing. Her wallet. Her ID. Her credit cards. As of 2024, none of those items have been located. There were also reports of a police vehicle, marked 001, seen on Route 112 before the official cruiser arrived. Parked nose to nose with Maura's dark green Saturn. That vehicle was never officially identified. The road held many things that night. Most of them have never been explained, and the one person who could explain them has not been found. We return now to the fingerprint, the one detail that has resurfaced most recently. His name is Stephen Baldwin. For years, Baldwin was known as an animal rescue advocate, a man who claimed to rehabilitate dangerous dogs. People trusted him. He was not saving dogs. He was killing them. In January 2024, Baldwin stood trial in Ohio. He was found guilty on 32 counts: animal cruelty, grand theft, bribery, fraud, impersonating a peace officer. On March 18, 2025, Stephen Baldwin was sentenced to 15.5 years in prison. But there was something else. Something that reached back 21 years. In March 2025, a source close to the investigation revealed that a fingerprint found inside Maura Murray's car had been matched to Stephen Baldwin. Baldwin was told in spring 2024 that his fingerprints were found on a CD or a CD case inside her vehicle. He confirmed it. Baldwin and Maura had both attended West Point. He had served as her student advocate before a disciplinary review panel that investigated Maura for a breach of discipline. He knew her. His print was in her car. Baldwin denied any involvement in Maura Murray's disappearance. New Hampshire State Police have not charged him. The cold case unit has not commented publicly. A fingerprint is not a confession. It is not an answer. But for the first time in over 2 decades, a name, a print, a connection. Baldwin is now in prison for unrelated crimes. Maura Murray is still missing. The investigation remains open. The cold case unit is still working. Facebook was 5 days old the night she disappeared. The world has changed entirely since then. She has not been found. And somewhere, someone knows what happened on that road. On that cold February night. In 2004. There is a man who has never stopped. His name is Fred Murray, Maura's father. In the days after she vanished, Fred checked out of his motel. Exhausted. The search had yielded nothing. But he returned, nearly every weekend, to keep looking. Police informed him of complaints. He had been trespassing on private property while searching for his daughter. He kept going. Fred Murray believes the police investigation was substandard, that their slow response and failure to pursue every lead is why Maura's fate remains unknown. In 2012, Fred filed a lawsuit. He wanted access to the police records. The court ruled against him. The case was ongoing. Releasing documents could hinder future proceedings. He was denied. He approached the governor of New Hampshire on the 1-year anniversary of his daughter's disappearance. He was given 10 minutes. He was promised the governor would try to get information from police. Nothing came of it. The condo owner that Maura had called on the day she disappeared had never been contacted by police. Maura's boyfriend's mother discovered this months later when she called the number herself. By then, too much time had passed. The owner could not remember the call. Fred Murray has also criticized the use of bloodhounds in the initial search. The glove used to track Maura's scent had only recently been gifted to her. Her scent had not had time to settle. A small detail. But in a case this cold, small details matter. The lead prosecutor in the case described Fred Murray as a difficult person to deal with from the beginning. He said Fred's anger at police was understandable, but misplaced. 2 sides. Each convinced the other is wrong. And in the middle of that distance, a daughter who has not been found. Julie Murray has said it plainly. Hope fuels families like hers. But hope also tortures them. With each day that passes without an answer. Fred Murray has said he will not stop searching until he dies. 22 years is a long time to carry that. Maura would be 43 years old today. An age progression image exists, created by the FBI. A projection of a face that no one has seen in over 2 decades. There is a shadow that falls across this case. Older than Maura. Darker than one disappearance. From 1978 to 1987, the bodies of 7 women were discovered within a 50-mile radius near Route 91, along the New Hampshire and Vermont border. All stabbed. All found in remote wooded areas. All unsolved. Police believe 6 of them were abducted. Taken to isolated locations. Murdered. None were sexually assaulted. Most were found off dirt roads. The killer has never been identified. On January 10, 1987, Nurse Barbara Agnew left a ski trip heading home to Norwich, Vermont. That night, a snowplow driver found her green BMW at a rest stop near Interstate 91. The door was cracked. Blood on the steering wheel. Blood in the back seat. Her belongings, in a nearby dumpster, covered in blood. She was found 2 months later. Stabbed repeatedly. In a wooded area. 12 miles from the rest stop. In August 1988, 22-year-old Jane Borowski stopped at a convenience store on her way home from a county fair. She was 7 months pregnant. A man approached. He asked if the payphone worked. Then he opened her car door and attacked her. He stabbed her 27 times. She survived. Her baby survived. Jane gave investigators a description. A white man. Between 30 and 40. Around 5'7". Blonde hair. Clean shaven. He drove an early 80s Jeep Wagoneer. No arrest was ever made. Now, the connection to Maura. In May 2024, investigators searched a property in Newport, New Hampshire, for evidence connected to the Connecticut River Valley killer cases. Julie Murray told reporters her family was aware of the search, that they were in close contact with investigators. Julie Murray has stood alongside Jane Borowski, the lone survivor of those attacks. Both women, waiting. Both families, without answers. Both cases, in the same region of New England. Police have never officially linked Maura's disappearance to those killings. But the geography is the same. The roads are the same. The silence is the same. As of November 2025, the Connecticut River Valley killings remain unsolved. No arrests. No confirmed identity of the killer. New Hampshire State Police have committed to exploring modern forensic techniques. Law enforcement renewed searches as recently as October 2025. In New London, New Hampshire, related to the earliest case from 1978. The killer, if there was one killer, walked these roads, knew these woods. And whether Maura Murray crossed his path, or someone else's, or no one's at all, that is the question that remains. On a road in New Hampshire, in the dark, in winter, where the answers have not yet come. We are now in the present, and the present holds something new. In December 2025, the New Hampshire Attorney General's office issued a statement. Investigators said they were actively utilizing advanced techniques that did not exist when Maura vanished. They stated they were applying these modern tools to existing evidence and to new information as it arises. Among the methods now being used, LiDAR and facial recognition technology applied to two-decade-old evidence. The cold case unit has also expanded from one part-time investigator to 2 full-time investigators. That is not nothing. The family has pushed the case back into public view, hoping that a modern forensic pass, or one overlooked witness memory, might finally shift the investigation from speculation toward proof. Julie Murray said in February 2025, "My family has waited 21 years for answers about Maura, and we are not alone. Too many families have carried unbearable burdens while hearing too little from investigators." Maura's brother has said it plainly. The likely scenario is that she got picked up by someone. It's going to take someone coming forward with a piece of information to solve it. And it's probably something simple. Something simple, said by someone who knows something, who has said nothing for 22 years. Police released a statement years ago saying they believed Maura was headed for an unknown destination and may have accepted a ride to continue to that location. A ride, offered or taken, willing or not. The scent ended at the road. No footprints in the snow. No credit card ever used again. No phone ever found. No confirmed sighting. Not one. Maura Murray disappeared just before the social media age fully arrived. Her case became one of the first mysteries to be pulled apart, mythologized, and repackaged across message boards and podcasts and documentaries. And yet, through all of it, through every theory, every search, every anniversary, every press conference, the answer has not come. What we know is this: a young woman got into her car on a Monday night. She drove 2.5 hours north. She crashed. She spoke to one man. She asked him not to call for help. And then, she was gone. There is a phone number. The New Hampshire Cold Case Unit. 603-223-3648. There is an email. coldcaseunit@dos.nh.gov. Someone is watching this. Someone may know something. A detail. A name. A night. Something heard years ago and set aside. Something that felt small, but wasn't. Maura Murray was 21 years old. She was a runner. A student. A daughter. A sister. She had dimples. She volunteered at a nursing home. She made people laugh. She drove north on a February night. She crashed her car. She spoke 4 words to the last person who saw her. "I already called AAA." And then, she was gone. 22 years. No body. No confession. No closure. The case remains open. The family remains. The road remains. And somewhere in the silence of northern New Hampshire, the answer still waits.